People got this idea in their head that a supreme being, a supreme force, operates on the same emotional principles as they do. Human beings have this human flaw, this limited perception when they think of a God who is merciful. What do the Muslims say? God is merciful, He's loving, He's caring, and things like that. And they give all of these attributes for their God, who they refer to as Allah. Right? They say He's all these things, say all these good things. Right? But their perceptions of God are coming from an emotional standpoint. Right? Emotions tend to lead more toward, unchecked in the form of polarity. Either you're overly emotional in the area of love, which is infatuation, which is possession, right? You want to possess somebody, or you lean more in the way of hate, right? Which is wanting to refrain from or be separated from someone. These two polarities are what emotions are based on, right? You have other things in between that scale. You have fear and sorrow and things like that, regret, things that are all unchecked, right? More murders are committed in the society, right? More marriages break up, relationships break up based on emotion. Energy and motion, as Dr. York used to say. Unchecked emotion, right? But the person who is able to bottle up that emotion, contain it like lightning in a bottle, right? Someone who's able to house that energy becomes sentimental. Sentimental. In the word sentiment or sentimental, you see the word mental. That wasn't a mistake. That wasn't a mistake that you see the word sentimental. I looked in the dictionary, and I'm usually not a dictionary person. Right? I don't usually go by the things that are written in the dictionary. But I let myself do this once because, for the people who like the dictionary thing. And I wrote down a few things, if I could find it, what they said about sentimental. Let me see if I could find it. Let me see. I'm not coming across it right now. I had it, and this is not good. But it spoke a lot about being. Here it is. Here it is. Tactful, delicate, sensible, judgment, prompted by feeling of attitude or thought. Now, thinking about someone or thinking about a situation before you act in a situation, right? That would be considered sentimental because you are using your mind to size up a situation. You are using your mind. You're using, you start off using your mind to, and your eyes and, your other senses to compute or size up or look at a situation that's going on in front of you. Whether certain situations require strength and brawn or caring or loving hand and things like that, you are able to size it up mentally. It is able to connect in your head what certain situations need more of and what they don't need any of. This is the ability of sentimental people. They feel and they are able to tune in to your energy or your emotions while keeping theirs in check. Emotional people do the opposite. They all over the place, right? You start off with emotional and you become overly emotional. Emotional is that energy in motion, unchecked feelings, unchecked anger, whatever the things you have, all unchecked energies that are usually misdirected, right? Black people have been misdirecting their emotions for over 400 years in this country, right? This is why our people are in the situation they're in. Unchecked emotions, energy in motion, having these outbursts, putting energy into things, being hyped up by things that really are not going to serve us any purpose in the long run. Getting involved in relationships based on emotion that are not going to serve us any purpose in the long run. You know, this is what produces ultimately children who grow up in relationships and they become emotional wrecks. You're starting to see a lot of black children ending up on therapy couches now. Why? Because they were raised by emotional people, right? They're couch potatoes. Yeah, they are emotional wrecks. Because if you're raised by a person who's an emotional wreck, a person whose feelings and energies are out of whack and just disorganized, then you're going to be the same way. Unless something kicks in, a sentimental gene kicks in, a gene that has sense, a gene that has a mental sense or a mental sensibility about what you're doing, what you're projecting, what you're opening yourself up to and what you're putting out, how to act and how to react, right? This is the sentiment. This is the message. I said on Facebook, I said God is sentimental. Man is emotional. It's all based in the submental, again, as I always say. In the submental state, everything is out of order. What is the order that is out of? It is out of the order of one. Right? That's what it means when things are out of order. When something is out of order, it is out of the order of one, because there is only one order. And it is a mental order. And within that mental order is a sentimental order, a checked lightning or a way of checking the energy in which you push out and which you take in. Everything is mental. And because we're on this submental state, everything has been divided. Polarities have been created. False polarities, good, bad, happy, sad, all of this nonsense. All based on what? Emotion. Energy and motion. Everything spread all out in many different directions once the mental or the mind state was divided. That's what it really means when it says out of chaos, out of disorder comes order, right? Well, in the back, and this when it came into this realm, when the mental order came into this realm, that concentrated form of intelligence came into this realm, there became confusion, a breaking apart of this fused intelligence to produce emotional people. When they tell you the story about the so-called 200 fallen messengers or angels or whatever you refer to them as, those celestial beings or those advanced beings who came here to this planet, as soon as they came here collectively as a group of people, right, knowing what their mission was, then as soon as they got down here amongst the humans, what happened? What happened in that account? Started arguments. People started breaking the codes of conduct. People started laying with the humans. People started doing all kinds of things based on what? Emotion. Their sentiment became unchecked. Same way intelligence is turned into information here, refined and processed into information to get people thinking in a formation. Same way people take sentiment that comes from God, Amen, the continuous one, and turns it into emotion, unchecked energies, things, energies all over the place, right? We're going to discuss that in great detail tonight. I am the intellectual sᴇᴛɪᴍᴏᴛɪᴏ, and this is State of Mental Radio, and tonight, God is sentimental, and man, or human beings, or man, is emotional. We're talking about that because it's real. Wars are started because of this. People are killed over this. Lovers kill their men, kill their women, women kill their men, jealousy, all of these things, right? All these things stem from emotional people, right? All these things keep us on the submental, keep us in this mindset that we actually own people or control people, that we have the right to tell people what to do with their bodies. This is what keeps us in an emotional state. People who didn't, manifest us here into this state or create anything in this state, going to tell you what you can and can't do with your body, that they own you, that they possess you. That's not real. That's not real. People stay in situations because they choose to stay in situations, right? Because of emotional attachments, right? They sit in situations constantly, and they stay tied to situations because of emotional attachment, right? Usually the emotional attachment is not love in these relationships. It's usually fear of being alone, right? This is why these emotional outbreaks that people tend to have, right, lead to the destruction of potentially good relationships. There's no sentiment there. There is no guiding force. There is no guiding mental force there to keep things intact. Man and woman, they'll sit up here. I heard somebody sit up here and say, God is good in my life because God, I could have died in an accident somewhere, and God, my friends died, but God, I was spared, so God, God loved me. Right? Now that's an emotional response. Did not God love your friends who He took? You don't think about that, right? Because everything from your mouth is emotion. My grandmother, God rest her soul, or God empower her soul, Amen, empower her soul, when she passed on. She was 89 years old. She passed on in January, right? Now, she, I never shared the story about how me and my mother found her, and she fell, cleaning. She was a proud woman. She didn't want to sit around. She didn't want to be an invalid. She didn't want, she moved slow, but she was always used to walking. Very proud woman. She'd get up and try to always move around and do stuff. She liked to move around, clean, do stuff. She always liked to stay busy. On this one day, she fell, and she hit her face, and she had a stroke, and she passed away. Right? Now, it was a sad moment, right? We cried, everybody cried, and my mother, she was a wreck. This is her mother, right? And it still touches me to this day. But I had to sit back and think that this woman was 89 years old. She was 89 years old. She had to go sometime. She made it to be an old woman. She's seen a lot. She lived a life. Now, a sentimental person thinks back on those memories. He thinks back on what she did in life. An emotional person focuses on her death. Right? And once I figured that out, and I realized that once that intelligence came to me, that sentimental people focus on life, and emotional people in things like funerals and things, they focus on death. They focus on, this person leaving them, not what this person left behind or what this person did or what that person left to resonate in their lives or, celebrating their lives. That made me think, I'm like, damn, I was upset about the wrong thing. She allowed me to explore being sentimental. She allowed me to explore the ability of being sentimental. The understanding of the two, of one being emotional and one being based on sentiment. So as I had an understanding of it, and I said, Amen took her from the earth because it was her time. Amen took her from the earth because it was her time. She lived a good life. She lived a great life. So I wanted to focus on her life. I sat in the funeral home and people crying and getting all emotional and passing on. I mean, this woman was 89 years old now. I would have liked her to go, I would have liked her for her to have left at 90 and, in her sleep maybe, and I would have been happy. But it's not about you. You can't choose how people leave because you had nothing to do with how they came here. All right. That was sentiment. I was able to get those energies in check, in mental order, and was able to focus them on something greater, her life. After she passed on, I did a broadcast. I didn't even miss a time off the air. That's when I was on the Abundance Network. I did a broadcast and I dedicated it to her because she, she made an impact in my life. Life lessons I took with her that I got with me now. Life lessons that I got with me now still resonate from her. So I remembered her in the sentiment, not in the emotional state anymore. So her life became a celebration to me. I got her with me. I mean, always. Always. She'll always be with me mentally and physically because she's in my bloodline. Always. Continuous. Eternal. That mind frame, she said something to me one time, always, and she was my first guide to letting me know that all things are mental, all things are perception, all things are pictures that are generated in your mind. When she used to say one simple thing to me when dealing with people, she said, mind out for people, always. Mind out for those people down there. Mind out for those people. That was her favorite word, mind out. Wasn't a woman who had an extensive education, She could read and write just a little bit. She had to drop out of school early and, work and things like that. But like I said, it's just things like that. Watching this woman, and it's deeper now as I'm even thinking about it. She was a sentimental person, not an emotional one. Even when her husband passed away, I didn't really see any tears, right? Because she thought about his life, and she made it a point to celebrate his life and memories. Because when you start dealing with people's memories and things they did, how they resonated in your life, that's dealing with the mental. It's all about how you resonate on the mental with people. People, no matter what people try to say, how people try to tear you down and and make you think less of yourself because they have issues with themselves. No matter how much people try to do that, it's how you resonate with others. It's how you resonate in this atmosphere when you touch others. That's what matters. Forget about that one person. I had a conversation with people dealing with issues one time, right? And the issue that people find with people usually is based in emotion. The issue or the problem you usually have with somebody is based in emotion, not in the sentiment. So, when somebody had told me, that I had issues, I said, everybody has issues. That's not a problem. Everybody has issues. Everybody has a something about them. You can sit around here and be emotional about it and let your feelings come out all unchecked in dealing with these people, or you can take the sentimental road, which is the road we're supposed to be taking as evolutionary people, and start to think logically. And, the scheme of things, how do these people fit? How do these people work? How can they enrich my life and what I'm doing? You understand? That's what you got. That's what you should think about always. Because, like I said, as long as you're with anybody, you're going to have issues with them. I don't care who they are. Most things that seem perfect are never perfect. There's no such thing. There's issues with everybody. Issues are people's own personal encoded genetic makeups. And everybody's encoded genetic makeups, there's issues. There's things that will rub people the wrong way. It's not about that. It's about seeing the bigger picture with people. Sentiment, not emotion. Your black relationships are based all on emotional things. That's why they don't stay together anymore. Not based on sentiment. Even though we didn't understand sentiment, our people didn't understand sentiment and emotion back then. You know, they didn't understand it to the depth I'm explaining tonight. But they didn't understand the difference. We stayed together based on sentiment, not on emotion. That's why when you see these black relationships that go for 40, 50, 60, 70 years, whatever, that's all straight sentiment, not emotion. The emotion and whatnot, that's the the submental stuff. You see somebody, you all into them and this, that, and the third. Then it becomes sentimental. You build things over time with people. You build memories with people. You build perceptions with people. Right? You become sentimental. You have sentiment. They have sentimental value. You understand? They have sentimental value, meaning they resonate mentally with you on some level. You value these people. This is real. See, emotional people who are based in emotion, they come and go. But people who have sentimental value, those are few and far in between. The people that come into your life and you say, I'll never meet nobody like that again. Those are the people who carry sentimental value because they were able to resonate something in your head. We don't choose lovers and mates and things based on sentiment. We choose them based on emotion. Trivial things. Trivial things that burn out after a week, that burn out after a month, people get tired of. And very rarely does a person make it to see the sentiment in that person. They don't stay long enough to see that. They don't see the bigger picture because they vibrate on a low frequency. So that's when issues become a problem. They don't see the bigger picture. That takes a person who carries a sentimental value. They recognize people who have sentimental value. See, a lot of people never heard it broken down this way before. So I know I'll get issue with people and they'll say, oh, so he trying to come with a different way, sentimental value. No, it's just what it is. Certain people in your life have sentimental value. Miss Amy Gregory, she has sentimental value to me. And I blasted her name out. Yeah, I put you on blast. She carries a sentimental value to me. Mr. Isaac Minjaz, he carries a sentimental value to me. I'm shouting out people, Sister Dawn, natural diva, supernatural diva, carries a sentimental value. Her son K1 carries a sentimental value to me. Rob carries a sentiment. Brother Ramon. A lot of people carry a sentiment. My mother and them, they carry sentimental value. That means they resonate in my mind as important people. They resonate. These are people who I want in my world, in my life. Emotion, things like emotion and emotional connections and people, they come and go all the time. I remember Earth, Wind, and Fire, they said something in a song. It was powerful. He's Maurice White of Earth, Wind, and Fire, the lead singer. He said, gonna find a few that'll always walk with you. You know what I mean? He said, gonna find a few that'll always walk with you. That means you're going to have temporary people that are only going to walk part of the way. And then they'll find a problem with you somewhere down the road because they got issues themselves. They'll find a problem with you somewhere down the road because they're not strong enough or their vision is not bright enough to see the bigger picture in this. That's all. So they want to shift the blame to you like they got it together. What do you got together to show? Nothing. Nothing. And all that you say, all that you advocate, there is no sentiment. There is no sentimental value. If a woman cannot name one, and I guarantee there are very few women that can name a man who had sentimental value in their life. Very few women. Women will tell you all the time about a man who took them places, spent money on them, and did this, that, and the third. And they'll mistake that as a man. They'll get emotional about that because they formed emotional attachments to those places, not sentimental value toward that man or the man who hasn't formed sentimental value toward that woman. That takes time to resonate. You understand? That takes time to resonate. That takes time to resonate in the heads of people. You understand? That takes time to pick up in the minds of people. You know? That takes time to get people to think to themselves, you know what? There's something greater. There's something greater beyond just the trivial, beyond the emotion. See, once you start thinking beyond the emotion, then you get to the sentiment. In order to get to the sentiment or the sentimental value of somebody, or to even start to have an ultra standing, this is a word I use for those who haven't heard it. Those of you, that have an ultra standing about the sentiment or sentimental value, you have to get past emotions first. You understand? You have to get past emotions first. Beyond the emotion, beyond the impact, beyond your neediness or your want to be needed, right? Because you'll never find a valuable mate based on emotion, because emotion will always fool you. Emotion is what? Energy in motion, as Dr. York said. I give credit where credit is due. It's energies all over the place. Unchecked. You understand? Unchecked. If you aim all that energy together at one point, at one spot, then your target will be great. It will be mighty. What you will hit will resonate on a higher level. If you aim all of that energy, if you aim all of it into one form, it becomes sentiment. It is no longer unchecked. It is no longer loose. It is no longer disorganized. It is all one orderly form of intelligence being focused outward to bring those in closer to you. This is what you should be doing when seeking a woman or seeking a man. You should be focusing that energy outward and carrying it within yourself in order to pull back the people who are real. See, if you're doing this and you're pulling back people that are unreal, and then after a time, what you will expect from them is to leave you alone. They will leave your life because they weren't real. If you're doing real things, then you're going to attract real people. But if you're a phony and a fraud, if you're somebody who doesn't know anything, if you're indecisive, if you have question marks and confused, and you're in a state of confusion in your own life, then you will attract those kind of people because you will have an emotional bond or an emotional tie to these people. Emotional ties sink people, right? They sink people. They tie people to things. People in that submental state. Emotional ties tie people to you in a submental state. Sentimental people connect with you on a mental state, right? Because they can feel the power of what it is that you bring beyond the physical, beyond the emotional nonsense. They can feel the power in you. They can feel the essence in you. They can feel it beyond your issues, beyond your things. So like I said, all day everyone has an issue. Everyone has a problem. I can go on and on about, what appears to be issues with me. And I said to a person, I said, the more a person starts to, magnify themselves, get bigger. The more they start to magnify themselves, the more bigger their issues seem. When their issues, the truth be told, their issues are no more bigger than anyone else's. Right? It's just that it's the size of that person, who they become, the potency of them, their ability to magnify themselves in your sight, their ability to form a sentimental attachment to you, to touch you. I said, men like Dr. York, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and things like that, they touched people. They had sentimental value. You know, I desire to have that in my life. I always want to touch people some way, in a good way, you know, or a memorable way. I don't want to say a good way. I don't want to say a bad way. I want to say in a memorable way, a powerful way. I always want to make sure I'm touching people in a powerful way, something to alter their lives. That is a person who carries a sentimental value. And only those people who carry a sentimental value will be recognized by people who vibrate on a higher level of intelligence, who are moving on that same sentimental encoding within themselves. Like they say, the street guys say, real recognize real. Sentimental beings recognize other sentimental beings. And we can spot phony emotional ones. You know? Because emotion adds up to what? Emotion equals what? Confusion. Emotion equals confusion. You understand that? Emotion equals confusion. This is the mentality. This is the mentality. As we are moving past our emotions to become advanced people, evolutionary people, we should be seeking to become sentimental people. Right? We should be seeking to become sentimental people. Elijah Muhammad's the messenger, the great messenger, he had women who came to him, and you know they say the women that the younger women that he had children with, they said, certain people say, oh, you know, those sisters came to him because he had power. Yeah, he had power. Yeah, you know, he was an old man, but he had power. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. Any woman who carries a bit of, any woman who carries any semblance of, what I want to say, sentimental value, will gravitate toward powerful men. The women who don't carry sentimental value, who are emotional, will gravitate toward powerless men. And there obviously are a whole lot of emotional women out here. They'll be with some guy who's regular, you know, some regular nigga who ain't doing nothing in the world, ain't nobody. But because he treat her nice and he act this way, and he tries. In other words, what he's trying to do is get you accustomed with his mediocrity. That's really what he's trying to do. He's trying to get you. He's trying to be nice to you. He kiss your behind. He do all this stuff because he don't want you to recognize his mediocrity in life. The fact that he's accepted to be nothing, that he will never be anything but a 9-to-5er. You know, a 9-to-5er. A person who sit around all day and watch basketball and football and play video games and smoke weed all day, or basically a damn nobody. But what happens is these women form emotional attachments toward these men. They don't understand what sentimental value is. I said a gold digger understands sentimental value more than anything. Now, that don't sound funny coming from me, but she understands it more. I could relate more to a gold digger than I can relate to an emotional chick. Why? Because people say, she only sleeping with guys for money. No, that's not true. No, a lot of these women, they don't go out just for guys with money. They go out with guys with power. Or, yeah, the money's there, because they'll go out with the man for power because they know the money's going to come. The smart women know the money's going to come. These are women who understand sentimental value because these men resonated in their minds. They understand the value of these men. You understand that? They're not out for emotion. They're not out for love because they don't realize in the game that's a bunch of BS. You understand? It's a bunch of submental BS. Now, though they might run and they'll live and, you might say, they all focus on physical stuff, which is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You should demand that the man you be with be an earner. Earn on a higher level. You should demand that. You should help him. You should push him. You should get involved in the enterprise with him. You understand? Any woman who doesn't do that, that's a woman who vibrates on a low mental frequency, a submental state, an emotional state. Any woman should want to make her man great. You understand? Because in his greatness, she'll be tied to his greatness. You understand that? These are women who have sentimental value. She sees the mental power of that man and what he can become, what he can be. She sees that it is of value in a world that is governed by men to be able to take this man and help this man to be great in the world, because she realizes that that is tied to her greatness. Good example, Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. Now, I'm not into the politics or nothing like that, but I applaud the hell out of Michelle Obama because she stand by him. Whether that whole presidency thing is a farce or whatever, who cares? But they are a real couple. And you could tell in their couple, in their coupling, that it's not about emotion. She saw a sentimental value in him. You understand? She saw sentimental value in him, and he sees it in her. Now, the people will sit up here and talk, oh, I don't see why he with her. She don't look all that and this, that, and the third. She's a nice-looking woman, first of all. I don't see what, a lot of these chicks out here, they think he's supposed, because he got that position, he's supposed to be with some high yellow chick or, some mulatto or a white woman. A lot of you black women still got that mentality. Y'all say y'all don't, but y'all do. That's what y'all really mean when y'all say she ain't attractive. I think she's a very attractive woman. And why I'm attracted to her, not just physically, but she's a very strong and powerful when you can see it in her face. Very strong and powerful woman. That's what attracted him. He saw the sentimental value in having her as his woman. You understand that? He saw that. There was nothing lukewarm about that woman. You can see it in her face. There's nothing lukewarm about that woman. You understand? And she saw the sentimental value in him. By standing by him, by pushing him. You understand? By studying with him and things like that, by standing by his side. She saw that. Right? That's what happens when you form a sentimental connection with somebody, sentimental value. You find a sentimental value in somebody. Or, like I said, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Clara Muhammad. Look at that woman's face. She put up with these things the messenger was doing, but you've seen the strength in her face. People talk about her, and they talk about how strong she is. Because she stood by him. She ran the nation when he was in jail for 4 years, taking instruction from him, telling the ministers and the men what to do. She ran the nation. You understand? Because she saw the sentimental value in building up her husband. Because she saw that as being attached to her greatness. Real women seek these men out. They don't seek out men based on emotion. You know what type of women, as I said, seek out men, or what type of men seek out women based on emotion? Losers. People will be sitting around, if the relationship lasts past 5 years, sitting in a living room after y'all unscrewed each other brains out every which way but loose, and y'all done tried everything, then you know what y'all start doing? Because y'all picked this up from the Europeans now. This is a lot of you black people are doing now. Now you Negroes going to swinger bars. You know why y'all do that? Because the emotion is gone. It's numb now. The emotion is gone. You would never do nothing like that with someone you had a sentimental value or connection toward. You understand? You wouldn't want to share them with anybody. Or you would want, if you're going to do that, it would have to be somebody who is on that level with y'all. You understand? But when you start going to singles, swinger bars, and you don't care who your woman is sleeping with, you don't care who your man is sleeping with, all out and about like that, you know what that is? The emotion is gone. Y'all trying to find a reason to stay together because now y'all just afraid to be alone, but you don't really want to be together. That's what happens with relationships that are based on emotion. You understand that? That's what happens. I don't want this relationships in the state of mental to be based on emotion. I want them based on sentiment, sentimental value. This is something that we are trying to get in our people. You understand that? This is something that we're trying to gear in our people. This is something we're trying to advance in the state of intelligence of our people. But a lot of our people are not going to get it. Find the sentimental value in people. God, Amen, put the intelligence in elect few people to be able to find the sentimental value in someone. That's real. Those of our people who cannot, they're not of the elect. They're not of the elect. They are not of the elect. Those women lined up to be with Elijah Muhammad because they saw the sentimental value in him. They didn't take no other man because they knew any other man after him, that was like taking a step down. They refused. They closed their legs up. They closed up shop. They didn't have children with other men. Coretta Scott King, her husband Martin Luther King, she ain't go be with no other man. She ain't married nobody else. That was it. She closed up shop. She was a good-looking woman when he died. She could have easily got another man. But how you go from somebody who was on a pedestal like that to somebody who's not? You can't. You can't. That's like going from eating steak to eating hamburger. Now, you going to go and be a regular person now? A lot of people, they have a taste of supremacy. They have a taste of greatness, and they don't know how to handle it. So it's like a child that you pick up in the air because the child wants to be picked up high in the sky in the air, but then when you pick them up too fast or you pick them up too high, they beg to come back down to the earth. You understand that? That's the majority of our people. A lot of our people say they want things to change and they want greatness and whatnot because they just reacting emotionally to the treatment they received in this society. But if you pick our people up too fast, if you bring them up, you understand? If you would try to instill sentimental value in them to bring them up, a lot of them are going to want to go right back down to the bottom. They're going to want to drop. They'll find some excuse to not want to be with you, or they'll find some excuse, oh, well, I don't like how this person is, or this person got issues, or I don't like how this person's acting about this, or, I think he's shiesty, or I think he's doing this, or, I think I'm being used. You'll make up an excuse because you want to be in the submental state because there you find it to be safe because there are a lot of bodies in the submental. There are a lot of dead bodies in the submental, a lot of mentally dead bodies in the submental state that vibrate off of emotion, like you, because you're an emotional person. You understand? You're an emotional person. You're not a logical person. You're not one who's geared by sentimental value. You're not geared by that. That's why any Tom, Dick, and Harry can have you. I made a statement on Facebook where I said I don't want regular women. Regular women don't turn me on. You understand? I said because if a regular women to me means that a regular man, any regular man can have them. And I don't go where regular men go. I stopped doing it a long time ago. I don't lay where regular men have laid. You understand? I don't do that. But you got to get your weight up. You got to get your weight up. Especially now as we're going through this evolution, as I'm telling my soldiers that's coming with me, my sons, the brothers and the sisters that are coming with me, we getting our mental weight up. We making a change. We're not going to be sitting around here boo-hooing about nonsense and nonsense people. We're not going to be putting our energy on nonsense and nonsense people. We're not going to be the emotional Negroes anymore. We're not going to be the emotional black people anymore, the reactionaries. We're going to be the sentimental bright ones, the actionary beings. You understand? That's what we breeding from the black race, from out of the ashes, out of the darkness. Sentimental beings. People who love based on sentiment, sentimental value, not people who love based on BS emotions, nonsense. We're not breeding those kind of people. See, because that's the kind of people that got us in the state we in right now. That's the kind of people, that's the kind of males you black women raise that's out here running around shooting at each other, cutting each other in the face, stabbing each other, joining gangs, becoming homosexuals and lesbians and doing whatever the hell they doing because that's all emotional. That's all energy in motion, unchecked energy, energy that has no rhyme or reason. But no, we're raising sentimental people now because they have it in their DNA to be raised. They're begging to be raised in this day and time. People who have a sentimental value. People who are looking to find their sentimental value. We find that in the state of mental, where all is mental. We're finding that in the state of mental, where all is mental. We're finding that in the state of mental, where all is mental. It's not about spiritual. It's not about the physical. It's about the mental, because the mental will alter the physical. The mental will alter the physical. The mental will alter the physical all the time. If your mind is strong, you will alter people in your life based on sentiment, not emotion. People look for you to be weak and emotional. You understand? They look for you to be weak and emotional, because then they pull you back down to earth, what they call pulling you down to earth, so that you can vibrate on that low mental frequency with them. That's what they want. That's what they live for. You understand? They don't like you being high and mighty. You know how niggas say, oh, you too high and mighty. Who you think you is? So they want to pull you back down to that state. They'll use emotion on all forms. They'll do something to get you angry. They'll do something to get you caught up. They'll do something to make you sad. They'll do something to make you happy, to keep you tied to them. But it's always a trap. These people don't do anything to get you to form a sentimental value, because they don't have anything valuable within them to get you to form a sentimental connection with them, or see a sentimental value in them. They don't have it. They don't have it, so they have to do those things. They have to do the things to get your attention like that. They have to. They have to resonate on that frequency where they're trying to get you to focus on the emotional state. You understand? They'll do that. They'll even come at you emotionally, then turn around and act like, why are you being emotional? But they came at you on an emotional state. It's all like that Vulcan mind trick. The Jedi mind trick. Remember that? The Jedi mind trick. Where they get you, they put you in a sentimental place. Excuse me. I meant to say an emotional place, and then they leave you in the basement, and they manipulate you through that emotion. Had you been looking at these people with sentimental eyes, judging them by sentimental value, like I said in the definition of it, judgment. Have you been judging these people? Are they worth your time and energy by sentimental value? You wouldn't have wasted your time. You could have saved yourself a whole lot of trouble and energy. Unchecked energy, emotion. Submental forms of unchecked energy. Submental forms of unchecked energy, emotion. Submental forms of unchecked energy. You would have saved yourself a lot of time. See, this is what we're dealing with in the evolution of our people. We're not interested in Egypt. This is exactly why we're not interested in Egypt and Africa and Islam, Christianity, Judaism. We got bigger fish to fry. Those fish to fry are our own mental problems and our mental capabilities, bringing them out. But in order to bring them out, we have to hash out or get rid of all the obstacles in the way of our mental evolution. This is our focus in the state of mental as a future people. This is our focus. We have no other interests. We don't have any interest in culture. We don't have any interest in nonsense. You understand? We don't have any interest. You understand? We don't have any interest in garbage. We don't have any time for nonsense. We don't have time for submental nonsense, garbage. These things will wear out as we are advancing mentally. These things will wear out as we are advancing mentally. People will play games with you to put you back in the submental state. Recognize it for what it is. They can't make the journey with you to the mental state, so they want to bring you back down to earth in the submental state via any way that is possible. The biggest way, the biggest doorway to bringing you back to the submental state is through emotions. To have you sitting up here getting angry, upset, bent out of shape, going through emotional outbursts, flipping out, for what? You can't change these people. You can't alter these people. These people are who they are. That's it. The people who are going through an evolution, they were already set to evolve. They already had a timer on them, and a time and a place where they would come and they would hear a certain intelligence, hear a certain person speaking. They would hear a certain alarm go off where they would cause an evolution in their DNA. They were already set. The people, like I said, the people that are coming to the state of mental, they're already set in the state of mental. That's why I tell people all the time, and they don't hear me. I said, I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. Either this is for you, either you're in tune, either this is in your DNA and in your bloodline, or it's not. It's not for you. You're of the bright race or of the black race. The majority of the people are not going to get this, even listening now, because two people could be listening to what I say, and you'll get two different understandings of it. You're going to get a misunderstanding. You're going to get a partial understanding, and you're going to get a understanding to where it starts to grow into an ultra-standing. But I guarantee you'll always get a misunderstanding. You'll always get some idiot that's sitting in the chat room talking about religion while I'm talking about something else, or they're talking about Hello Kitty or something stupid, or the Flintstones. We always get one of them because they listening, but they hearing, but they can't listen. They're not able to listen. These words don't resonate with the mentally dead. People who are stuck in emotional states are mentally dead. Unchecked energy on the submental state equals an emotionally dead people, or mentally dead people. That's what that equals. They can't hear. I should say they can't listen. They can hear. They can hear sounds, but they can't break down and decode those sounds that are coming out. Their minds are too simple. Their minds are too dense, stuck with emotion, heavy emotion. Sentimental people transcend this level of emotion. We transcend emotion. Same way the true thinker transcends the submental state. We transmit beyond the submental state. We receive beyond the submental state. We receive beyond the revolutionary mindset. We exude intelligence from an evolutionary perspective and mindset that's coming in from outside this atmosphere. These are people who are sentimental. These are the people that are who form a sentimental connection with the receiver. These are the people who will be locked into the receiver. These words will resonate as powerful with the people. People say, those are just words. They don't mean nothing. Let me tell you something. Words govern you every day. Words get you up, Words get you up to go to where you're going to go. Words get you to school. Words get you to move you about in your life. Don't tell me words are not powerful. Words are very powerful. But it has to resonate in the sentimental state. It has to resonate on a sentimental state. Right? We have to resonate as a sentimental people. Right? This is our focus. To resonate as sentimental people. People who are not falling for emotional states. People who care, but we care in degrees. We care in dimensions. We care in checked states. We don't care out of state. We're not going to sit up here and just ball all out of control and cry all over the place and lose our minds. We don't do that. You understand? We don't do that. We don't sit and put energy into nonsense. We are a sentimental people. We govern ourselves as a sentimental people, an understanding people, a people who get it on a higher level. True to form, this intelligence will escape a lot of people. So let it escape. This is the best we're going to be, because we can only get better. We can only get better.
I want to play a little music. We in the hour point. I've been running my mouth, so I know what I want to hear. I want to thank brother brother Chris, aka Shabazz, for these excellent selection. Well, like I said, I made the selections. The brother put on the music, and it was a technical advisor. Put the music up. Our music director, brother Chris. November 25th, Sunday, November 25th, Supermen, Superwomen Project, State of Mentel, Supermen, Superwomen Project, where we will be putting statements up for the new year coming in 2013 and beyond. The focus of the mentalists. We'll be right back. That cut has always resonated, and it holds sentiment. That cut holds sentimental value to me. That's another thing where sentiment crosses over, and the remembrance of music, good music. Anybody who says that they like all kinds of music, right? They like everything. These are the people who are geared by emotion, right? Because music, can manipulate them on different forms. You'll have certain people that are listening to, Lil Wayne or Young Jeezy and them, and they're moved to be angry, had some felonious mindset, doing some criminal activity, or you'll have someone to listen to Mary J. Blige, and the black woman turns into some sorry project chick, with a ghetto love story, or whatever, and they move by these emotions, these submental ways of thinking. They're moved by those. But you have different kinds of music that produce sentiment in people. I call them sentimental artists. People like Stevie Wonder, people like Patti LaBelle, people like Earth, Wind, and Fire. Good music, real music. Then you have the emotional people, right? You have the emotional people, that tug on you from the submental state. They tug on your emotions from the submental state. That's why you can get a lot of young kids who listen to hip-hop to go out here, or kids that listen to rock music that go out here and kill themselves, right? They hear talking about the messages in the music, right? They go out here and kill themselves, or the kids listening to hip-hop, next thing they smoking weed. They wasn't doing that before. They were straight-A students. Next thing you know, all they want to do is listen to Jeezy or Lil Wayne, smoke weed, and because that music, it fed on their emotion. It caught them at a submental state, right? It didn't do what that I don't even call that music, that noise, that emotional noise, fed on them at a submental state. Unlike the music that was sentimental to us, timeless music that even, if you catch your children at the right time, you can play some old Michael Jackson, tell them that it's human nature, or, certain songs resonate and create a sentimental effect in your mind. It makes you think on a higher level. Stevie Wonder, things like that. They want to take sentimental music out in the society, right? Because what does sentimental music do? Sentimental music vibrates you on a higher mental frequency. It makes you think on a higher mental frequency. You listen to anything Stevie Wonder did in his catalog, and I guarantee you, I don't care if Stevie Wonder, Tina Marie, all of them, they put out music, Patti LaBelle, they put out music that made you vibrate on a higher level mentally, right? Unlike this garbage today that keeps you on a submental level, this on an emotional level, right? The soundtrack to the young black man's life is hip-hop, and people tugging at your emotional strings. That's the whole thing in it. That's the whole point. So it goes beyond just love and personal relationships. It goes into your music, things you listen to, the very things that program your mind, the very thing that moves you on this submental plane, the very things that gets you to generates ideas into your head, rather than to raise your intelligence to receive higher thoughts, advanced ways of thinking. See, that's the test. That should be the focus. Unfortunately for our people, they don't really know the difference. Certain people have an inclination that certain things are different. You know what I mean? Certain people have an inclination that certain things are different. You know, but they really don't know. Right? They really don't know. Like I said, the woman who will sit up here and let her emotions get carried away with her, or the man who will sit up here and let his emotions get carried away with her. Like I said, you can find yourself in a state of emotion, on that submental state. You mad at your woman or whatever, she mad at you, or that y'all mad at each other. Next thing you know, you done killed her in a fit of rage. She done killed you. She done poisoned your food. She done stabbed you in your sleep, stabbed you in the shower, threw hot water on you, hot grits, whatever. But that's love, right? That's that love. That's that real love. You know, that's that sick love. That's that emotional junk. Energy, emotion, energy unchecked. Sentimental love, real love, sacrificial love, right? People who see the sentimental value don't mind sacrificing certain things to make you happy, right? And you don't mind sacrificing for each other. That's real. That's real. These are things that old relationships were built on. You know, solid. They're not solid anymore, right? We loved solidly. We had a solid love, a solid foundation, right? I want to show you. Look at Ashford and Simpson, right? Look at them. That's a sentimental love. They probably don't have sex no more. Nick Ashford dead? When did he pass away? No, Nick Ashford didn't pass away. Well, I gotta look it up. I had one of my assistants tell me that Nick Ashford passed away. I gotta look that up. But if he did, rest in peace. Rest in peace. You know, one of my engineers. Rest in peace, Nick Ashford. If he did pass away, I'm gonna look it up. I don't think he did, but that was a sentimental connection beyond emotional. Because if your relationships are built on emotional, it's not going to last past a year. You'll be lucky if it lasts past a year. You understand? You'll be lucky if your relationships are built on emotion. It won't last past a year. You understand? It won't. If you're lucky if you get 2 or 3 years in. You know, but if they are built on sentiment, people seeing the value, then it'll last a lifetime. Because people will always renew themselves, and people will always become beautiful. Even as they get older, they will become more beautiful. Because they will advance in their intelligence. They will advance in their stance, in their principles. They will advance in the bigger picture. All right? Though Elijah Muhammad had other wives and other women and whatnot, he never claimed or took them. He never left Clara. Never left Clara Muhammad. Because they had the sentimental connection. He had a sentimental value. Even to the day she passed away, they had a sentimental connection. I don't think he ever took another wife. You know? Never left her. Because people remember. People remember. People with sentimental value, you can never forget them. They will always resonate in the minds of the people who are moving forward. And when they're missing from the bigger picture in your life, you really feel it. You really feel it. You really feel when they leave. Versus some nigga or some niggerette, you know, they get out your life. You be like, you hurt for a second. You be like, I'm over you. Then the nigga come back, she come back trying to get with you and whatnot. You like, I'm over you. I ain't crushing on you no more. Somebody said to me, I ain't crushing on you no more. I done moved on. True people who make a real impression in your mind, who carry sentimental value, they'll never be able to leave you. You can't leave them. They'll always come back, some way, shape, or form. They'll always come back to you. You know? They will always come back to you. Right? They will always make an entrance in your life. They will never be too far behind.
because that's that synergy. That's that real connection. I'm about to take a phone call to, I think it's my brother Reginald. You know, Brother Reginald, you on the air.
Peace, Newman.
Peace.
Hey, how's your birthday?
Good. I can't complain. I had to sit up in traffic court well, I did complain the earlier part of the day, but once I got home, I got in the relaxed. I had to sit in traffic court, you know, and it's unfortunate because I wouldn't have to sit there for so long had it not been for an ignorant black woman who wanted to have me sitting up in there, you know, ignorant black female. I'm not even going to call her a woman. You know, I don't want to put her in the same category as women, but some ignorant black female had me sitting in there, right, and had me sitting in there for about 2 hours, right, on my birthday, when I didn't even have to sit in there. You know, I could have went and just took care of a ticket or fixed the ticket to, you know, reschedule the payment of a ticket. That's all I had to do. I didn't have to see no judge or anything like that. You know, I had to wait till they had lunch and everything, and then here comes after lunch, which was an hour and a half. You know, they were supposed to be back at take an hour and 10 minutes. They come back, you know, because the lady judge was black, and you know, the court officer was black. So you know, they're gonna come back an hour and a half. So had to wait for them. Once they come in, her white boss, aka her master, he comes in with the white shirt on, and I go to him. I bypass her because when I tried to ask her for help, she told me I couldn't come up there and ask about nothing, this, that, and the third. So her master's there, right, with his white shirt on, you know, her boss. I asked him, you know, look, I'm just here to take care of ticket, this, and that. He said, oh, well, what's your name? Asked me my name. He looks in there, go get the file right on the desk, right, five about two feet away from me. He goes to get my file. Look at it, and he writes me out a yellow ticket. Just come back in 2 months. There's enough time for you to pay it. I said, yeah, listen, way more than enough time. I didn't need that much time, but thanks. And that was it.
Wow.
And all that time, the damn black woman, she's sitting there mad that I'm talking to her master. I stepped over her to go talk to her master because, you know, I guess she enjoyed having me sitting up here wasting my time. You know.
Yeah, that's too
but
bad.
You know, I had to go to her master and talk to him.
It's a great topic tonight too, man. It's a great topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know there's people that are in basically probably in the same situation that I am in or was in.
Mm-hmm.
But my situation is getting ready to dissolve itself. So I just, you know, my thing was this. What I did, I didn't just like put, because I have children involved, you know, I didn't just say, well, I'm out and I'm taking the kids with me. Now, I didn't do that. All I did, I just didn't give the situation energy so it will continue to grow, or it'll continue to just be in an uncontrolled situation. I didn't give it any energy, even as far as not to speak, you know. Just in my home, I just take care of my children. I didn't give the woman the energy that she was even trying to, you know how they try to make you react just by the things they say, or they'll say some stupid shit about you just so you could react to them. I just didn't react and gave her no energy, and she just went away. You know, the situation just fixed itself. Now my situation is this. She knows, without me even having to say it anymore, that I am there for the children only. Period. We are there to raise those children, and that's it. I do what I want to do. She does what she wants to do, but we respect that household and we respect the children. Mm-hmm. So anyone that's going through that, just relax. Don't argue with the person. You know, they're not going to understand what you're saying. You know, and you're going to constantly get, you think you're better than me. And when you hear that, you can say, yes, I am better than you. You know, if you feel like explaining why, then do that. But if you don't feel like explaining why you're better, just don't. But don't give these people energy, because when you give something energy, you keep it alive. And you don't want to keep that negative bullshit alive, because it's gonna affect your existence negatively. Oh, and Nick Ashford is dead, brother.
Oh, he is.
He's been dead for a number of probably a couple years.
Wow, I didn't know he passed away.
Yeah,
Wow.
You don't watch TV. That's how I know you don't watch TV or you don't watch the BET Awards and all that, because they give those tributes and what have you, Soul Train Awards and all that. They give those tributes, and they gave him a number of tributes. Yeah, he's gone.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, man, it's a good topic though. I appreciate it. I know that. I appreciate it. Hey, man. Man, the Superman, Superwoman project, man. I really hope. I'm really. You know what? I'm not even gonna say I'm coming and all that. I'm gonna let shit happen because, I know that I should be there, and the energy knows that whatever the energy is, knows that I'm supposed to be there. Amen knows that I'm supposed to be there. So whenever I'm supposed to be there, I'm gonna be there. I'm just gonna continue to do what I do. And then when I see you, I'm going to see you. Okay. All right.
All right,
brother. Hey, I'm going to continue to listen to the show, man. You have a good evening.
And I just want to tell you, man, I already saw that dissolving itself anyway, man.
I know you did. I know you did. You said it.
Yeah, I already saw it dissolving itself.
Yeah, man. It's
everything takes care of itself over time.
Yeah.
Everything takes care of itself over time.
If you're vibrating on the correct frequency, you know what I'm saying? Then it will take care of itself. But if you're not, it's going to continue to revolve. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, I know you saw it. I know you did.
Yeah. So, all right.
Have a good night, man. I'm going to continue listening, man.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Peace.
Peace. Yeah, we on a roll for my birthday. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, today is my birthday. It is my 42nd birthday, and I'm feeling good tonight. I am feeling excellent on my 42nd birthday. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling very relaxed, and I'm in a clear state of mind. I tell people all the time, don't be what people want you to be. Be who you are. Be who you are. People have a problem with that. People want you to be something that you're not. People want you to be something that you're not. I will never be something that I'm not. I'm not going to be someone other than who I truly am. I accept people as they are. You understand? I accept people as they are. Only problem, like I said, if you are who you are, you'll resonate quicker to me. You understand? You'll resonate quicker to me and realer to me than trying to be a phony. People will always try to convert you into what they want you to be. I never do that with people. I never try to convert people into what I want them to be. Be who you are, but be the best at who you are. Advance in your intelligence, but be the best at who you are. Don't take away that which defines you. Don't take apart that which defines you. People really have something who have something to offer. People who have something to offer, they offer it in their real state. They offer it in their real state. They're going to resonate as real people. Be who you really are. I never hide who I am. I never hide who I am. I can always be proud of that. That people will always say, when they met Nuben Menkarayzz, meeting him, talking to him, speaking to him on the radio, speaking to him in public, or speaking to him in private, he was pretty much always the same. He didn't put up any things. He didn't try to confine himself to be a certain way. Even in this refinement of the state of mental, even in refining myself, even in going through that refinement, it was still an evolution. You understand? It was still an evolution of me. This was all me. You know? This was all me. This was all a refinement of myself. I could appreciate a person who is a jerk. You understand? Because that person will always resonate in that he'll resonate in my in sentimental value to me as a jerk. But at least he resonates. I can appreciate that woman who a gold digger, if that's really who she is, because she'll always resonate as a gold digger to me. She'll stay in my memory longer and will mean more to me as who she really is or who they really are, you know, based on who they really are versus those people who are phony, trying to want you to be phony, want you to act a certain way. You understand? People can perceive me as egotistical. People can perceive me as angry. People can perceive me as being someone who's, you know, all the above, all the submental things, and it's really not that. When you hear my voice, it's passion. What you hear in my voice is fire. It's perceived by people in the submental state as something lower because they dwell in that state, and that's all they understand. People will perceive you and judge you based on their low standards and their low way of thinking. They'll judge you that way. And they will refuse to see you for who you truly are. They got to bring you into the dirt because that's where they are. That's what they're used to. That's the emotional people, the submentals. The emotional people will always try to pull you into the dirt. Be mindful of that. That's why I try to steer clear of emotions. I try to steer clear of it. I got caught up quite a few times, but sometimes you got to get caught with something or caught in something in order to understand it. Sometimes, like, you got to get sick. You got to get chicken pox or, you know, the measles or whatever in order to build an immunity toward it. I fell into the emotional mindset with women, you know, with friends who I thought were friends, people who I trusted who stabbed me in the back, and I became emotional about it. You know, anger, rage, you know, sorrow, you know, just all of the above. I went through all the unchecked gamuts of emotion. Why? Because it was necessary. I see it now. I seen it as necessary. It was necessary in my evolution. You got to go through a sickness. You have to go through emotion. You have to go through these things, right, in order to move forward. You have to go through these things in order to move forward. You have to go through these things in order to move forward. You have to go through emotions. You have to go through all these energies and whatnot to burn them out. Right? I went through them already. I would have loved that, not had to go through it, but, you know, like I said, you know, I went through it, so obviously it was necessary. You know, so I try to stay away from it as much as possible. You know, I know my limitations on certain things. You know, as far as emotion, I don't have any real. I have no real patience for emotional stuff no more. You know, I don't have the patience for it. You know, you have to move forward. It's about the evolution of a people. You know, so play another song from the Naked Music Bunch. I want something new. Let me see. Let's see. What do I want to play? I want to play something new because, like I said, me and my brother, we put a lot of stuff up here. You know, we put a lot of new stuff up here. So I want something good. I also want something nice, little, you know, with a nice little length to it. Not nothing too, because I want to drink my coffee, y'all. I've been nursing this coffee, you know, for a minute, you know. So here we go. You Will Rise, Sweetback, featuring Amel LaRue. We'll be right back. Amel LaRue. That was Amel LaRue. You Will Rise. That's another classic. Another song that resonated in my mind, you know. So, forward motion. Forward motion in the evolution of what we're trying to do. steam motion, forward motion. We are not going to be pulled in by emotions anymore. We're foregoing all the emotional ties and nonsense, right? I got one last emotional tie to cut with somebody. It's not even emotional, and as we moving forward in this evolution, we should work on cutting our emotional ties. We should work on cutting our emotional ties. We should work on cutting all emotional ways and doing things. These people, that connect us to nonsense. These people who vibrate, we didn't recognize this before, but now we're starting to recognize it stronger. These people who connect us to nonsense, these people who keep us grounded into submental states of confusion and emotion, they need to leave. We need to push them out of our lives. We need to put as much distance between us and them as possible, right? Look to those people and be around those people and surround yourself with these people who produce a sentimental value in your life. People who resonate on a higher level, and you will have more people come around you like that. Govern your life like this. Govern your life like this. Govern your life by having these type of people around you. You understand? If you govern your life by having these type of people around you, then you will never have to worry. You'll never have to worry about having submental parasites around you, submental emotional parasites around you. This comes out in friends as well. You got friends, so-called friends, who will drain and feed on your emotional output. They will look to keep you emotional, constantly keep you caught up in their drama. They'll constantly keep you. They'll involve you like a third party in their emotional drama. They'll have you sitting there listening to their life like you in a soap opera with these people. They'll cry about men. They'll cry about, their family or whatever the case may be. And they do this all in a constant rotation. And if you're smart enough to figure it out about these people, you figure out that these people love being in these situations. You understand? These people love being in these situations. They love being in these rotative situations. They like going in rotation. They like the submental nonsense. They love submental nonsense. They love emotional nonsense. Because it's just so simple, so easy to leave situations. It's just so simple and easy. So simple and easy to walk away. It's just so easy to walk away from things. But they won't walk away. They won't. They won't walk away. They'll constantly stay in that rotation because, like I said, they're addicted to emotional lower states. They are addicted to lower states. They are addicted to these rotative emotional states. This is their mindset. This is their malfunction in life. You as a functioning person who is looking to establish healthy relationships should find that one who resonates or gives your life or resonates to you as one who carries a sentimental value in your mind. People who will stay in your mind. Right? I said the real people will stay with you for a lifetime. Real people will stay with you for a lifetime. They will stay resonating on a higher level in your life for a lifetime. The people who vibrate on emotion, they'll stay with you for a lifetime as well, but you'll always see your life descending down further and further just by associating with these people. You'll see it all the time. Because the black race, they're emotional. They've been trained to be emotional, right? They've been trained to be emotional. You look at everything our people do, everything we do in the society, is out of emotion, out of reaction. Emotional people are reactionary people. Sentimental people are actionary people. They're sparked to move. You understand? Based on an idea, on a level of intelligence, based on something that resonates. They're sparked to move. They're not sparked by moving off of what other people did to them. That's what your black race does. They are sparked by reactions. Somebody does something to them, in this society, racism, this, that, and the third. So what did they do for racism? They form black groups. They form this. They form that. Had they had a fair share or a fair piece of the pie in this society, you wouldn't see any of these black groups. You wouldn't have seen a Moorish Science. You wouldn't have seen a Nation of Islam. You wouldn't have seen a lot of these. Well, the Nation of Islam would have came anyway, because that's part of the evolution. But you wouldn't have seen a lot of these black revolutionary groups because it all came based on the reaction that they had a gripe against Europeans. And that is based in emotion. People who are hurt because they're not accepted. You understand? People who are not hurt because they are not accepted. People who are hurt because they are not accepted. That's their anger. That's their anger. That's their beef. We, as a people who are looking to bond with other people who carry a sentimental value, we will reject those who have a emotional tie. People who are looking to form bonds with people who have emotional ties, they will weigh you down all the time. I had a sister tell me, she said she was emotional about this brother for a long time. She had feelings for him, but she said she cut him off. Right? And she said she felt like a weight was lifted off her shoulders. She cut him off from everything. Weight was lifted. So now she freed herself up to have a man or connect with a man or reconnect with a man who has sentimental value. Right? You already know who I'm talking about out there. You listening. You will have that person come into your life or have that person reconnect with you who will carry a sentimental value. You will move forward with these people. You will surround yourself with these people. You will breed this in your children. This will evolve out of them. They will seek out men who are like this. If you have a son, they will seek out women who are like this. Special women, special men, breeding a special race of people. This emotional state or this unchecked energy can only kill us off faster. It is like a poison that's coursing through the race. How many more young black men are going to be buried based on shooting each other down? How many more emotional outbursts and fits are we going to have as a race of people? When we can't work together, where we got these differences, where we Muslims, Christians, Israelites, Moorish Science, we all these things, all based on what? Emotion. All based on emotion. Somebody feel a certain kind of way. Certain people can't let certain things go when none of it is working for us. That's all based on emotion. Sentiment tells us that, these things, I can see the bigger picture that these things are not working for us. So maybe it's time we move on from these things. Maybe it's time we vibrate on a higher mental frequency and keep in mind, keeping our submental keep that submental emotional state where it belongs, and develop that sentimental state of listening to people and choosing leaders and forming movements that resonate with us on a mental level, that has a sentimental value to us, because at the core of every movement, or any movement that's going to be of any real substance that's going to help our people, the leader will be able to reach the sentimental values of a people. Real movements are built on people who have sentimental value, not emotional people. I'm going to say it one more time. Real movements are built on people who carry or are encoded with sentimental values, not emotional people. Right? What you see now in the black race, that's emotional people, dysfunctional people. What you see when you see the Honorable Elijah Muhammad putting together the Nation of Islam, and people who felt a strong need to come together, people who wanted to be clean and wanted to be winners in society, who felt the need to come together, that was a people who had a sentimental value to themselves. The very idea of what this man was talking about resonated to them, though it wasn't, he didn't present it as, polished as later on, but that wasn't what it was about. It resonated with them. The sentiment resonated with them. It carried with them. Right? This will live on in any movement. This will keep the test of time in any movement. This will stand the test of time in any movement. Right? So I'm going to go through these questions real quick, because we're toward the end of the show, or the broadcast, I should say. I don't usually like referring to this broadcast as a show, like I said, because I'm not out here putting on a show for people. I'm trying to broadcast this intelligence to my people. So here we go. All right. Okay. Say a second. What's the difference between sentimental and emotional? Well, sentimental people are those who vibrate on the higher mental frequency, right? Those are the people who vibrate on the higher mental frequency, those who find the value or the mental value in people, the substance in people. These are people who carry sentiment, or sentimental people. Things resonate with them deeply on higher levels. Emotional people are people who vibrate on a submental, surface-like frequency. People who are shallow. These are your emotional people, your shallow ones. Right? People who still vibrate on things like physical love and all this other stuff. Things that are basically nothing but what's the word I want to use? Infatuation and games. Nonsense. Right? Why are women and men emotional? Well, they had been made this way in the society. They've been made shallow in the society. They had love and emotion pushed to them as the end-all, be-all, and the connector, or that which should be the connector between men and women. And sentiment was not pushed, because that was actually our natural way of life. We wasn't divorcing 3 and 4 times and in and out of marriages and whatnot. We stayed together. A lot of people say, they stayed together because, they just didn't want to leave. And no, because like I said, issues come, issues go. People are going to have issues. That's what it is. But sentiment and the dedication to a bigger picture and a greater idea is what is going to move people forward and is going to get people through, even in tough times. Understand? That's what's going to get people through, move people forward. Why is God sentimental? God is sentimental When I say God, for you people who haven't never heard this broadcast before, I'm talking about the future man, or the future bright man, or the one who comes out of our genetic. He is sentimental because we are going through an evolution where we are no longer those of our people who are meant to be go from emotion to sentiment, where we're no longer being like this, where we're no longer getting into this emotional state. We're going into a sentimental state where we're looking at people who resonate. So, of course, where we start off is where God picks up and moves forward and takes it further. We were bred to be sentimental, but somehow along the line we fell into this submental state on the line with these people, with the human being, and our sentimental state, or that focused energy on, or that focused intelligence on being sentimental beings who picked up on sentimental people, other sentimental souls and beings. We lost that in the submental state, and we started gravitating and moving closer to emotional people, people who are unchecked in their energies, people who were vibrating all over the place, causing that state of confusion. All right? Having people producing men and women who don't know if they're coming or going, forming relationships based on shallow things, right? With no regard for a higher connection. All right? Let me see. Are God's people supposed to be submental? Yes. God's people are always supposed to be sentimental. I'm sorry, not submental. I said sentimental. God's people are always supposed to be sentimental, and especially in dealing with everyday people. It's good to know and have a sentiment for those regular people versus those special people. You must be able to differentiate. You must be able to differentiate the people who carry emotional ties versus those who carry sentimental bonds and, connection. You have to be able to differentiate the special people that resonate in your mind versus the submental people, the ones who are only going to be there to cause confusion based on emotion. You have men who seek out women to do that, to get you open and things like that, to do certain things because it's a game to them. Just like you have women who do the same thing. They get you open, they play the game with you. You understand? Just to get you vibrating in that submental state on the all emotional, right? And then they pull a plug on you. Stevie Wonder made a song called Rocket Love, right? And in that song Rocket Love, he talked about, how a woman took him up high in the sky and then brought him back down to the earth and whatnot. And I guess, it was a sad song, but, he called it Rocket Love. That's emotion. Just like a spike of drugs and whatnot, get you all risen up high and whatnot on this, false sense of security and love. It'll drop you right back down to earth. Stevie knew what he was talking about. You have people who purposely play this game with you. Right? These are the people we need to distance ourselves from because they'll keep you in the submental state. They're going to keep you going back and forth like good and bad, happy and sad, keep you bouncing back and forth. No, we're after people who are who resonate to us in the sentimental value, who keep us moving forward, keep us constantly or continuously rising to a state of greatness. Right? How has emotion slowed down the evolution of the black race? Simple. Because while we were sitting around here paying attention to all of the things that, we were being swayed by hustlers and con artists and religious people and things like that, we didn't look at whether these people were, what these people were really saying to us, what was happening to us. We didn't take into account or think if we didn't, not enough of us thought on a level to be able to look at what we were up against, look at who we were accepting, look at the level of intelligence or lack thereof that we were accepting. This is what slowed us down. We weren't thinking about the things we were accepting. We were just accepting them. We were just believing them. We didn't place God on a mental scale or a mental level of judgment. We just accepted the beliefs of man, So this kept it because they were able to tug at our heartstrings and use God and emotion to get us trapped into the circle. We were supposed to actually be looking at God through a sentimental value, seeing how God resonated to us on a mental level. You understand? We didn't see it that way. Had we had done that, we would have made that mental connection, and we would have been out of our situation quicker. We would have been through our situation quicker. We didn't look to make a mental connection with God, a sentimental connection, by making a connection within our inner selves. You know, who we truly are, what we refuse to accept, the people we refuse to accept. Right? So, who will evolve into sentimental people in the future? The bright race, those who are coming out of the black race, as I always say. They will evolve into sentimental people. They will evolve from emotional people. Your children will realize the game that a lot of our people didn't realize at the time. They won't be played for fools. Right? They won't breed with people who are only here, who are vibrating on a low mental frequency to basically slow down their evolution. They're not going to fall for it if we breed this in them now. You know, if we breed the search for tomorrow being sentiment, if we tell them that they should search out people and be with people who resonate on a strong mental frequency. All right? So that's it. Supermen, Superwomen Project, November 25th, Sunday, November 25th. What do I want to close out with? I want to close out with something nice. Let me see. I'll close out with this. Q-Tip and Nora Jones. I like this song. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkarayzz. This has been State of Mental Radio. Good night.
It's the Republic of Mental rising out the black race to the white race, out the black race to the white race. It's the Republic of Mental black race to the white race. If it's hell, I'm and then it's hell us. They tried everything just to spell us. Fed us religion, gave us fake gods. Through all of that, we beat the odds. Now we coming together under one flag. Colors red, gold, and blue. Superman, Superwoman, that's me and you. The infinite capabilities that we can